He stood up and walked away from the manuscript. Joseph left him to read and walked around the table as if a drop of water had hit him square on his head, simultaneously to his very existence becoming a body of still water. He walked away from the manuscript, the table, upon a conceptual ringlet, a wave from that quasi-medium text, that text, and text generally. The ringlet grew within and behind him as he walked across the meeting room. His path crossed another book that he had read. This book had moved tingles of laughter from his funny bone humorously to his shoulder blades. He carried this idea as he entered into the kitchen, where he saw a third book that he was rereading earlier this week, which had initially informed him of text as a quasi-medium. The conceptual ringlets, which he was upon, felt as real as that tingly sensation within his upper arm and back that similarly informs cartooning book artists of correct placement for wings upon their depiction of the human form, the blooming human body. Each text left him within a space not yet physical, but an imaginary space, an actual and literal space of sensational graphic understanding. After the meeting, his father's favorite song had ended. His father had begun vacuuming, then fixing the vacuum with disappointed sighs. "Everybody is somebody too," were the final lyrics that had accompanied his father's music. Laeheim's extension concluded. You must have a form, not necessarily an object, but a form, perhaps an object to talk about, perhaps not to talk about. The accompanying words from Laeheim's Noah as he makes conversations to Judah protect and war against our abusive verbal world, our cooking world, dead or alive. Integers balance our formulas time and time again, and in it is these formulas upon which our adulthood feeds and our humanity dares wean. Capitalists and media people sustain themselves on formula. Humans consume vegetable stew. Converts and hybrids learn that food with salt intensifies all respective sprouting buds. Noah continues about his conversation from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to the Church of Jesus Christ of dospook Saints. I have never offended myself so much as I have through Pook, Noah continues with pedantic humility. I have watched her soul crunch and her face ball because I cannot see her dreams in my mind, and she knows I cannot. I suspend myself and time, never landing next to my dearest. I sense decades now, decades of her annihilation from me, swapping itself with everything else valuable, annihilating itself from me so that I may be with the world's King of Kings and Son of God and our man. This is tense and awful, and I fear I cannot stop this unhealth ever. Once in motion, how I needed God in my youth. God is a worthless guide for my soul without Pook or Jesus as his chaperone. I never believed in straight lines, not really. Full circles are my safety and the sprouting source of my never becoming. I thank my Nephite friends that still accept me in any capacity. In Crusher's time, 2466H4, a blood descendant of Pook testifies within the house of the moon rightly after slaying a man. Language doesn't support my mind anymore. It does not guide me nor significantly direct me. Syntax is dead to me. If I am not sad, then I feel that I am a sad being. I was waking up all night just for this, just for the dawn of our lovely dark trains taking flight ahead of the white. And although about half of the darks in dark blue were not married, they were those that were. About half of those that were only slowly becoming detached from the myth of the mild and middle-class Nephite. Blessed his holding the fart. He is of the lesser of a social provost, although holding knowledge in math, psychology, and medicine, and adhering to family matters, he didn't feel appropriate in the Church of the Nephites. So he thinks that he is up to date and ahead of the dynamics of the universe and such knowledge games, and yet he does not sense a new atmosphere for his mind, family, and being, and this is found in the acceptance of all of the houses, but most especially within the house of the Sagittarian. Also, this Saturn, this missing of the white, that did not achieve the highest hope, but a almost highest hope, is the tragedy that will befall so many of us. I don't want you to be dead. I'm just having a hard time. This is the body of Nephite, sirs. He is laying over there with his ass by his face. The Nephite bishop stand up and reprimands and chides within the ward. To he who laugheth like a peach or a hyena, is thou reason to be alone with my presence in battle arms? The Pook descendant continues, my lesson has been tossed to the edge of thy land, which that controls and has provost over. My lesson has been tossed near neighbors' lines or on neighbors' lines. Although this seems to be an acceptable gesture, on our island of control, which doest harness you, and school, ye trust a phantom dream within our wards, dospook has spoken. The bishop begins again. You may not enter our purchased properties any longer, slayer of our Nephite friend.